Hi everyone, it's Kim Dunn here from Positive Young Minds. I'm a psychologist and this is day 5 of my 5-day vlog challenge talking about communication. You might find some interesting things in the background behind me, and that's because I'm in our garage. I have a sick son and a husband who's home before he heads off to late afternoon shift tonight. So inside my house it's just a little bit crowded, and I will definitely be interrupted if I was inside. So in light of being able to communicate with you easier, I've relocated myself to here. Okay, so I realise this time of the day it's probably a bit tricky, and I'm probably not expecting many people to be able to join me live, but if you're watching this later, please comment on things as we go, because I'll come back and have a look and be able to address any questions or comments you have back then. So we've been really working on why we communicate, how we can set up ourselves and our environment around us to enable our children and our teens to feel comfortable communicating with us. So today I've titled this, Now They're Talking to Me, Oh My God, Now What? Because you'll find when your children and teenagers start to talk, they're going to come out with all sorts of things. And you may not be prepared for some of the things they want to talk to you about. Part of this is because as they get older, they're exploring their own identity, where they fit in with the world, and by talking with you and building on that connection you have, they're sorting out where they are. And so they're going to talk about things like Donald Trump. They're going to talk about whether they feel safe. They're going to talk about terrorism, sketchy people in the neighbourhood, being offered alcohol and drugs, friends who are self-harming, friends who are suicidal, people at school who might bring knives to school. They may also talk about gender identity, and if they're not quite sure whether they're straight or bi or something else. What else do they talk about? They might talk about how they don't really want to keep going at school, they'd rather drop out, or how much they hate their brothers and sisters, or you name it, you think of it, and they will come out with it. So what do you do? What do you say? Particularly when some of the stuff, things that's really challenging to you. And so here are, I suppose, 3 tips about how to handle it when things come out that you just go, right, okay. So number 1, listen with an open curiosity. Listen without jumping into judgment, but accepting that this is something that they want to explore, and you are so privileged that they want to talk to you about it. So they don't, they're choosing to talk with you rather than just talking to their friends about it or just looking it up on Google. And that's something to be honoured and respected. So you might be freaking out inside. Take a breath inside and just listen. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is maybe you could be a little bit prepared and think about your own values. Because the kids will ask you, Mum, what do you think about this? Dad, what do you think? What would you do? And some of these questions we might be avoiding ourselves, and suddenly you're confronted with it. So do a little bit of preparation in your mind about, what is your value? Why is this important to you? Why do you care about it? And that will help. And it's okay to say to them, you know what? I'm not really sure how I feel about that. And then that leads itself into a different sort of conversation as well. So that's point 2. Be a little bit prepared. Point 3 is sometimes you might not be able to engage in the sort of conversation they want to have. Sometimes you just aren't ready for it for various reasons. It might trigger something from your past, or it might need a bit more detailed knowledge. For example, if your teenage son comes to you and says one of his friends is, maybe talked a little bit about dropping out of school or problems at home, and your son doesn't know how to handle it or what to do. It's okay for you to say, look, that's beyond you and beyond me, and perhaps you need to advise him to talk to the school counsellor about it. It as the first point of interest, because you can't fix it. It's your son's friend and his family. It's not for you to butt in. You can support your child, but also encourage your child to talk to someone who can help his friend. Or, for example, your teenager might come out and not be sure of their sexuality and you don't know how to advise them. That's when you might say, look, how about we book in, have a chat to a counsellor, have a chat to someone who specialises in this field, and you can talk to them about it. And then that way your child has an opportunity to share with someone else and doesn't feel like they're burdening you, because that can get in the way of teenagers just communicating too. In my clinic, I've seen a lot of teenagers who go, oh no, I can't tell mum, no, she couldn't cope with that. I don't want to upset her. My family wouldn't like that, or my family wouldn't know what to do. So that's why we're so lucky we have so many psychologists and counsellors and mental health social workers and people out there who can support you and your child when it comes to difficult communication. So I hope these points have been helpful to you. I've really enjoyed bringing these vlogs, and I am going to continue. I'm just not quite sure in what way yet and what my next topic is going to be. So if you've liked this, send me a like, give me a comment, tag a friend, share the vlogs, share the word. So if you, like me, believe it takes a village to raise a child, stand up, be part of the village, share this with your tribe. And I look forward to working with you in the future to really raise wonderful adults. Thank you.